All right, let's refresh here. We are live. Let's have our chat on top. Okay, fantastic. Let us get into game. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Magicide. What's up? And welcome back to our Geek Fest here. Another stream playing some Grim Dawn with all of the DLC in version 1.0.6.1. We are going to be playing with our Ritualista, Bone Thugs and Cacophony. And it's kind of funny, you know, I was sitting there like tripping out there for a second, looking at my character. First of all, as you know, I was looking at my dead character first. Yeah, she's still around, but then I was looking at her and I was like, you know, on her offhand, she's carrying this big ass book, right? But on the other hand, from the front image here, she looks like she's carrying like a bottle. Like she could be almost carrying like a 40. And I was like, man, and she's got like the spikes on, so she could be like, I don't know, attending grad school in like the ghetto or something like that. Look at this. It totally works. And she's got the total like perfect name for it. That is until, of course, you know, you scroll on to the side here and you realize that it's just a really big, dumb looking gun that I can't tell if it's just like a bunch of like little chambers all tied together or melded together, or if it's supposed to be just like one huge like cannon. I don't know. Anyways, let's start up our campaign here. Yes, I've been bemoaning the fact that I've been playing way too much of this in my other series that are not being live streamed. But hey, what the hell? I don't care. I want to play some goddamn Grim Dawn. Just the way it is. It has to happen. Let's see here. So, you know, I was taking a look at a video last night that was very intriguing to me, that I really thought about for our build, that I think I maybe misread it at first. But it's this skill right here, Wind Devil. Lives for 12 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a look at Grim Tools and find out if this actually scales. So that's just basically pumping it up, and then this is Maelstrom. I think this is just basically like a straight up upgrade. Because the video that I watched, I remember seeing the original Wind Devils, and then it turns them into like this big angry like lightning cloud looking thing with Maelstrom. But these things looked pretty ridiculous. Like stupid ridiculous. So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, you know, if I really wanted to, instead of going Blight Fiends, like I could choose another totally different summon. Like if I really wanted to, I could just go full on out Briarthorn, which almost makes sense to me anyways, because Briarthorn has this emboldening presence, which I'm going to max that skill out anyways, so we'd obviously want to have a nice big beefy Briarthorn. But I remember reading other threads that said that you don't ever want to pump skill points into Briarthorn, or that you don't have to pump skill points into Briarthorn. So I remember looking at this on Grim Tools, and I think I tested it out for myself, and it's just the scaling on this thing is bonkers, and it's stupid. It's really bad. So I think that was the reason why. So I'm not so certain that the Wind Devil can necessarily be a replacement, unless of course you were going to go like full on out Reap Spirit. I guess it could be a replacement for something like that. Or maybe like if you were going to straight up do Blight Fiend plus this Unstable Anomaly, which only allows them to live for so long. If you were going to do something like that, I think that would probably be maybe a good substitution. But I'm going to have to take a look at Grim Dawn, because I want to know if these things, if their lifespan actually scales. If it does, then I definitely want to do it. In between episodes, I did play around a little bit around here. Let's see here. Take a look at the map. Oops. It's not moving, damn it. So I just came over here and just explored this area a little bit more. That's it. And I'm finding it to be really frustrating in this game that there isn't like an area in this game where you can just just go and straight up just kill monsters just for experience and gold and gear and whatever else, you know, without disturbing the continuity of the storyline. And yes, I could potentially just come right outside of here and just play straight up from the beginning all the way up until the point where we left off and just kill all those monsters, but you're also killing the very beginning starter monsters, and the type of gear and experience that they give is shite. So why would you waste your time doing that? I want to fight monsters like that are my level. So that's why I was over there. And when I was over there, I gained a level. And I also, let's see here. Not that. What is that? Codex window. There we go. Maybe it was the crudely scrawled note. But I found a note over there. I found something over there, you know, like one of these little lore pages. Maybe it was the dust-covered journal. No, it's a dust-covered journal. There's like some like castle over there. So I'm gonna just very slowly scroll through this, just in case anybody out there really wants to read this. Like, I want to try to capture this game in its totality. I'm sure there might be a time where even I go back and rewatch my entire campaign here just to read all the different pieces of lore to try to ascertain maybe like a little bit more, see if the lore in this game actually gives me a better idea of the backstory, or at least the history, or some kind of like backbone of the environment that I'm playing in, or if it's just, you know, extra faff. I don't know. I'd be really interested, but I just don't think I'm going to end up reading it all now. That's why I'm just slowly going through it, so it can be read later. So since we gained a level, I don't remember the exact route I was going to go. I was sitting there making this claim about Wind Devil. Also, I have to say that Devouring Swarm may in fact still be one of those skills that I may want to pick up and spam the shit out of, because it has the Vitality Shred. The minus 10% Vitality Resistance. Yeah, that definitely scales pretty good. We may actually want to pick that up, because if I'm going to go on full on out, try to get as much damage or vitality damage in there, I think I may end up having to do that instead of using Grasping Vine. So I might have screwed up here. We may end up having to really wait until we get to the one NPC that allows me to refund points, but because this is bonkers, there's just no way. As far as my 3 skill points, what do I want to do with them? I think we should maybe buff up our skeletons, or should I just continue down our path? Listen, I want all the things. I do, I really do. But, like, I really want to, like... I know I'm going to want to master Necromancer out. And I could pretty much, I think, hold off of that. Or I could continue to... You know what, fuck it. Let's just pump 1 and get the level 10. Let's get our Briarthorn. I will investigate the whole Wind Devil thing at a later point in time. I'm just not convinced that's the way I want to go yet. I think they're pretty ridiculous, but man, I mean, that's got to be quite the commitment. Because I'm going to assume that you're going to want to pump all of your skill points into everything here. If nothing else, you're going to probably want to max out Wind Devil itself, and then Maelstrom with maybe like a point or two into Raging Tempest, if not max it out itself. I'm saying that that's quite a commitment here. Like, I don't think that that could just be some like slight digression I make. So with 1 skill point left, it's tough. I'm thinking between like maybe Ray Skeleton, Ill Omen, or Will of the Crypt. I'm just really not sure. That's going to increase all the damage of all my skeletons. I think we should do that. I want them stupid strong. Let's see here. We also need to make sure that we activate that. And then, let's see here. Why? We need to do our summon Briarthorn here. Quite the number of pets. And then, let's see here. For our Wisp, we want to set you to defensive. For our Blight Fiend, we want to set you to aggressive. Keep the Briarthorn at normal. I don't remember which one I wanted. I think it was this one. So, I was gonna say, like, what the hell? Why did it look like it totally canceled it? Oh, that's right. This is the god that we betrayed because we ended up taking Ingram with us. So he says, I don't blame you for your decision. Ingram is a fine blacksmith, the finest around to be sure. I'll do what I can for these people with what I got. Farewell, broski. Yeah, that's right. I remember thinking about that when we were deciding to take Ingram with us. About what the other guy would say or what he would do. Like, maybe he would get hostile or something. I don't know. So many damn different summons that I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to end up completely forgetting some. I have to say that the icon for Ill Omen and the summon skeletons thing, raise skeletons, is they're very similar. So after I get done casting Ill Omen, like I thought I already like raised my skeletons. I'm really enjoying the whole Ill Omen skill, man. That shit is so quality. It's ridiculous. Like, the second I start to get rushed, I just cast that. And then all the enemies just go and piss off. The video I was watching last night had also recommended using those components that I mentioned in the other stream the other day. Because I found that to be eerily coincidental. I'm gonna have to sit there and look at those the two items. I know one of them that we don't have is the purified salt, but we do have the imbued silver, which I think gives us the aether resistance. We want that because it's going to provide, I think, basically provide a bonus to all of our pets, which is really important. Because any additional bonuses that we can confer onto our pets is going to be very, very attractive for us. And from what I understand is, like, I think some of those resistance sources are a little harder to come by. So any legitimate sources that you can to actually upgrade them, you should probably take them. I can get on board with that. Really loving the fact that, like, all of my peons here are taking all of this damage for me. Yeah, buddy. Man, our Blight Fiend has taken so much damage. There's a lot of activity going on here. Yeah, here's the problem, is that we got the Aether Crystal here, which just continually summons enemies. not a problem at all. These things are just everywhere. Everywhere. Apparently there's like a really good place in this game where you can go to farm the aether crystals. But obviously we're not there yet. But of course. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the whole grasping vines, honestly. It's okay, I mean... Listen, the whole reason why I got it was for the 40% slower target movement speed. It's just basically some CC. Some crowd control. You know, it's a way for me to, like, basically try to mitigate a whole, you know, rushing Zerg cluster that's coming my way. You know, or something like that. Or basically, it'd be also something good for if, like, you want, like, maximize your AoE damage. You could restrict their movement like that and then do your AoE before they have a chance to actually escaping and getting away and getting out of the actual AoE itself, the actual area of effect. So it means it's really good for this too. It works really well with Ill Omen because, you know, when they're all clustered like that, if I can restrict their movement just for a short period, long enough for me to rush in there and get the Ill Omen off, then it works because this thing will disappear. They'll get their regular movement speed back while they're still under the conditions of Terrify. But I think just having Ill Omen, like a straight up, like fully maxed out Ill Omen, or maybe an Ill Omen with like plus to skills, with I think the one other skill, this guy right here, Devouring Swarm. I think that would be better. I think it would be better. The shred, the resistance shred is just, it's just so good. If it only had like some lightning damage shred, we could totally go with the Wind Devils like I was saying. And I wouldn't feel bad about it. There's so many of these things. So there is a devotion shrine here. Which is pretty freaky deaky excellent. I would like to finish Shepherd's Crook. That's right. Make it rain with all that gear. So I think ranged expertise, is that not like a skill from the demolitionist skill tree? I think I'm gonna go with it. It's not too shabby. As far as the upgrades, ooh, look at that. We get a firearm upgrade. You see, that is why I'm so hesitant about actually equipping components in my gear, because I know we're still pretty young when it comes to our level. And like I know we're going to be swapping out gear all of the time. So it's like if I was to apply a component, like what would I put it on? This ring right here is the only thing that I know that I'm not going to end up taking off for a long time, just because finding another ring that provides basically what it does, or something even more bonkers, is just going to be pretty rare. So I think I'm going to end up having this equipped for quite a while, and I feel comfortable putting something into it. Maybe same thing with our amulet. So there would be the two things I'd be okay with, and I'm not sure if the imbued silver actually would affect our jewelry or not. So we got this pretty sexy offhand here. Doesn't really do shit for us. Stunjacks. Stunjacks, I'm pretty sure was a demolitionist. Demolitionist. Pretty sure that's a demolitionist skill. Otherwise, it's pretty sexy. So the Ruined Shrine wants 2 Aether Crystals. Greedy fucking bastard. Whatever. It's just too bad it just gave us a whole bunch of garbage. But as far as devotions, heyo, plus 3% health and a whole bunch of bonuses to my pets here. Health and defensive bonuses. So the next devotion we'll be able to complete this guy. Big bonuses to all of my pets. We'll get plus 60 to all damage, plus 60%, plus 10% crit damage, and plus 50% to all retaliation damage. All applied for my dead sexy pets here. So it's always worth your time to explore these caves. Come on. And for nothing else, if you're not going to find like shrines, you know, just for nothing else, then there's going to be loot. You know, you're going to have these specialty monsters. And of course, these two areas don't fucking connect. I'm gonna say, like, right there in the mini-map, you can kind of see, like, this little sliver where it doesn't actually connect, where it looks like it might. Looks like we're just gonna have to backtrack. Maybe, you know what? I just performed it the right way, but I think I'm doing this backwards. I think the correct way I want to do this is cast Ill Omen first, and then when they run away in terror, then cast the vines. So then it restricts their movement. So that way my mob can just go in there and just murder fire them. You know? Because they have nowhere to run at that point. Yeah. I think that would probably work the best. So I do have to say, I found one of these earlier when I was playing in between my streams, and I find this game to be just baffling sometimes. Like, look at this. It's calling it a wand. Wanderer's Wand of the Void. But it says magic one-handed scepter. It's a scepter. So a scepter's always been basically a melee weapon. You know, in Diablo 2, it was a paladin weapon specifically. So I have to say, like, what gives with this game? Is a scepter, like, just thought of as a straight-up mage weapon in this game? Or is it saying that, like, you know, maybe I shouldn't have these... Oh. Didn't realize this place had another exit, but anyways. But instead of having, like, you know, these old... like, way too strict ideas of, like, the archetypes, and just kind of, like, think of it more of, like, a hybrid. Meaning that the wand is both a mage weapon, also a melee weapon, meaning that your mage can be a, you know, a melee user. So I would actually prefer to do all the fog busting on the borders first. Whoa, got a lot of guys here. Yeah, here they go. I do have to say, this combination, I mean, it's very effective. It does work. The only way it works is because I have all of the pets, right? Just because, you know, when I terrify the monsters and I restrict their movement speed, all that while, all of my pets are sitting there blasting them. So you gotta keep that in mind. Like, look at it just spread. Like, the entire map, all of these monsters at one point or another were basically infected with that one ill omen. That's insane. Oh, I love it. Like, I actually feel stupid for just completely undervaluing that skill when I first read it, because it looked like a pile of shit. It looked like it was going to be terrible. And I still blame Crate. I still blame them. It's their fault, because I feel like the skill descriptions and the tool tips, I think that they should have transparency. They should have a lot of clarity when it comes to everything in this game. Like, most of the information I find, like, in this game, especially when it comes to the skills and the tool tips and whatever, it's so unbelievably ambiguous, or it's just flat out unclear. Wants me to repair a bridge, right? This bridge once connected Burwich to East Marsh. Trash has accumulated at its support beams, making repairs impossible. The debris could be cleared with some heavy explosives. The old abandoned mines around our old Arcovia are likely to be the best place to find those. It will take one dynamite to clear the bridge. Okay. So I will say that the local map, it'll have like this, right? Like the moment I get up close to it. But if we go over here to the world map, like, I really wish this could be like zoomed in and out of, and then it could show you, you know, varying degrees of detail. Kind of like the way you zoom in and out of Google Maps, by the way. Like, that would be really awesome if this game had a feature like that. Because what would make this really incredibly handy is it would give me precise locations of where I would come to expect that these shrines would be located, for one. And for two, I would presumably be able to put map markers down. And I know I've mentioned this before, but like, I could put a map marker down right here, right where I'm standing, saying, hey, this place needs one dynamite in order to progress to the new area. And I can't do that because, number one, there's no map markers, but number two, there's just no other features. And I look at maps. I like maps. You know, I was in grad school once upon a time. And when I was in grad school for anthropology mainly, I was also pursuing a certificate in geographic information science, or systems if you prefer. Otherwise known as just the abbreviated form GIS. And I have to say, man, you know, after you go through so many of those classes, if you didn't have an appreciation for maps or for geography in general, you sure did after taking a number of these classes, because that's exactly what happened to me. Like, I've always had an appreciation for maps and overlays and whatnot, and just like different ways that like a map can actually display data sets and things. Like, all that stuff is really interesting to me. It's always been interesting to me, but it's never been like, I guess, something that I really gave it too much thought of until I really entered in higher academia. So we have a secret cave here. It is